What does your President Xi, want to get out of this meeting, do you think?
First of all, please accept my profound condolences for the passing away of Her Majesty the Queen. A lot of people here in China also mourn her passing
Mm.
for the which will take place as we speak between the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Russian President Vladimir Putin. It will be a very important occasion. I think the main purpose is to cement the friendliness and the good neighborliness between these two very important countries in the world. You may know for sure that China and Russia have a common border of more than 4,300 kilometers long, and it is absolutely important to make sure that the common border remains peaceful and mutually important. Further, the two economies are highly complementary to each other. And while the Chinese economy is about 10 times as large as the Russian economy, we can really cooperate a lot by dealing with each other as an equal on mutual benefit, as well as for enduring friendship going forward.
You talked about the border between the two countries. Why would that border not remain secure? What are your concerns there?
No, the border is peaceful and secure and
Mm.
mutually beneficial. People-to-people exchanges across the border are taking place in a very normal way. And it is absolutely make sure the border remains as it is, rather than, for example, being subject to any vicissitudes of the geopolitical events anywhere in the world. Therefore, I think in China's and Russia's own interest, as well as in the interest of global peace, to ensure that China and Russia deal with each other with mutual respect and friendship and good neighborliness. This is absolutely important for
Mm.
these two countries, but also for world peace going forward.
Well, of course, you will, in China, you will see things differently just because you are looking at things from a different point of view, and the West will view things differently as well. And some people will perhaps understand that if you're talking about a huge neighbor with, economic ties, etc., that you have to take that approach. However, when it comes to what has happened in Ukraine, what would you say the position of the Chinese government is when it comes to what has happened in Ukraine? Do you accept, for example, that this is an invasion, that Russia has invaded Ukraine?
From the very beginning of the war in Ukraine on February the 24th, China's position was and remains to appeal for a peaceful end to the war in Ukraine as quickly as possible.
Mm.
And China to mediation between Russia and the Ukraine on many occasions, quietly behind the scenes through diplomatic means. And China still is committed to do mediation and good offices to bring the two sides together and achieve a peaceful, negotiated settlement of
Okay.
whatever problems are between these two countries.
Mm. But do you accept that Russia invaded Ukraine? That's quite an important point.
It is not the official Chinese position on this matter.
Mm.
I think we this to the historians in the future to decide what exactly happened. And I think for the moment, what's of crucial importance is to bring the war to an end as quickly as possible so that there will be no more loss of lives for the Ukrainians. This is the most important.
Okay, of course, there are people who will say, "Well, hang on a second. It's pretty obvious what happened. Russia is the aggressor. They invaded Ukraine, and this idea of you say that obviously you hope that the war can be brought to an end through a negotiated settlement. What seems to be happening right now, I mean, perhaps we're extrapolating this too much, is that the war may end because Ukraine is overpowering Russia in parts of Ukraine."
Absolutely not. I think while everyone can look at the recent events on the battleground through his or her own lenses and come to his or her own conclusions,
Mm.
I would think that is the more technical defeats you inflict on Russian troops, the more they will fight back and more ferociously they will fight back. It is not realistic to expect that the recent defeats inflicted on troops will lead to an ultimate defeat of Russia in Ukraine. The more philosophical, profound danger is that if Russian troops really are cornered, then they may even escalate the war in Ukraine,
Right.
lead graver consequences for mankind as a whole.
Okay.
That's why I emphasize that the only right way is to bring the war to an end as quickly as possible.
Victor, do you know that, would you accept that one of the ways to bring the war to an end as soon as possible would be to withdraw your support from Russia? Would you accept that?
No, China supports both Russia and Ukraine. As a matter of fact, China lost more than many other countries, or almost every other country except Ukraine, as a result of the war, because China was the largest investor in Ukraine before the outbreak of the war. And China was taken by complete surprise when the war started. And China actually panicked because there were so many Chinese people in Ukraine. And in Beijing, for example, we also have more than 2,000 Ukrainian people in Ukraine. I get along with them very well. And I think what China wants is that we do not need to split the hair for the moment. We just need to do what matters the most. That is to promote peace, negotiation, bring the war to an end, and prevent the war from spilling over. And I'm very sorry to say that the winter is coming, and this winter will be very, very hard and harsh for many people in different European countries. The prolongation of the war in Ukraine is fundamentally against everyone's interest right now.
Okay.
Bring the war.
Victor?